sit this convention out. NEWS2's April Knight has the story.
There are supposed to be 9 Virgin Islands delegates at the Republican National Convention, but one decided to stay home. Superdelegate and former VI Senator Holland Redfield said he's not attending on the basis of principle.
That goes against my basic nature, my fundamental values. I am not going to stand up on a national level and allow the Virgin Islands be sucked up in a philosophy that is not consistent with our values here.
Redfield made his decision after the RNC's Rules Committee voted not to allow pledged delegates to change their vote. A majority are pledged to Donald Trump.
At that point, it was moot for me. It precluded any disruption, and I didn't consider it disruption.
This is not the first time that Redfield spoke out strongly against Republican support for Donald Trump. In a video sent to Politico that immediately went viral, Redfield could be heard chastising his Republican colleagues for towing the line.
People are saying, well, he's going to change himself. Well, I ask those that are watching this broadcast, do you change the stripes of a cat?
Redfield essentially forfeited his vote for the next Republican nominee, a vote that's seen as top commodity for a U.S. territory that cannot vote in the presidential elections.
One way or another, my vote is not going to count that much in the entire equation of things.
But according to Redfield, the real test lies beyond this very divisive and vitriolic 2016 election. The next president of the United States, he said, has a lot of pieces to put back together.
He's going to have one hell of a job pulling this country back together again. I look at it as probably one of the dirtiest elections that we're going to have.
Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
In other news, Senator Novelle France's noise pollution bill is pushing forward at the Senate on Friday. The Senate Committee on Homeland Security and Public Safety, chaired by Francis, approved Bill number 31-0381, which seeks to regulate noise in residential and business areas. Francis refuted claims that the proposed legislation serves a special interest. He said it is not an anti-business, anti-music, anti-entertainment, or anti-culture bill, but a quality of life bill. The bill was favorably voted on by all 6 committee members present and will proceed to the Rules Committee for further vetting. Citizens of Cuba celebrated the Festival del Caribe earlier this month, and among the revelers that shared and celebrated culture was a vibrant group of Virgin Islanders. A couple of delegation members shared their experiences with us and why do you think the entire trip was well worth it? NEWS2's April Knight has more.
Cuba had a taste of the Virgin Islands earlier this month in its Festival del Caribe. A delegation of Virgin Islanders flew to the Festival of Fire in Santiago de Cuba.
We were invited by the Casa del Caribe, which is an organization as part of the Ministry of Culture in the Cuban government in Santiago de Cuba. We had a delegation of a total of about 14 or 15 people.
The group was split into a cultural entertainment team that stayed in Santiago and a group of colloquium presenters who also headed to Havana. Many of them went on their own dime. Their mission, a people-to-people cultural exchange. And organizers said it was mission accomplished.
It was a real eye-opener for the Cuban people because many Cubans in that area, they do not know about the Virgin Islands, especially the U.S. Virgin Islands. So we were educating them about our culture, about our people.
18-year-old Irvin Mason Jr. went with the delegation as part of the Caribbean Ritual Dancers. A Moko Jumbi for 5 years now, he showcased his skills as a cultural ambassador for the Virgin Islands.
We performed in the 2 major parades that they had, even in the parks, just spontaneous performances just for the community and the Cubans, because it was just so excited that we were there and they just embraced us so much. So we actually performed every day.
According to Mason, the Cubans' love for their culture made him appreciate his own.
I want us as Virgin Islanders to really appreciate our culture more, and especially the youth, because I feel like a lot of our cultural traditions are they're starting to dwindle.
And while the Virgin Islands was not well known to Cubans before, it's already been chosen to be featured in this event in 2018. Reporting for News 2, I'm April Knight.
Well worth the trip. Now turn our attention to crime reports. The VIPD is requesting your assistance in locating the following felon. Tahira Charles is a 32-year-old black male, dark brown complexion, locked black hair and brown eyes, goes by the alias of Cosmo, and is known to frequent the areas of Tutu High Rise. Charles police say is wanted in connection with the first-degree murder that occurred on June 25th in the vicinity of One Stop gas station. Can you help? Well, please call the Homicide Task Force at 340-714-9823, 911, or the Anonymous Tip Service Crime Stoppers, USVI, at 1-800-222-8477. On July 14th at approximately 1 p.m., officers traveled to the Schneider Regional Medical Center's emergency room regarding a call regarding a gunshot victim. The victim told police that as he pulled up at a relative's residence, he saw a black male individual approaching him with a firearm in his hand. A scuffle ensued when he tried to grab for the gun, and during that scuffle, he was shot. The suspect ran away in an unknown direction after shooting, and the victim said he drove himself to the hospital where he was treated for a single gunshot wound to his upper left thigh. Please call police if you have any information as they continue the investigation. Well, overseas, Baton Rouge, a city that desperately needs healing, is once again suffering. A former Marine who appeared to be biding his time sprayed police officers with an AR-15 style rifle. 3 officers are dead, and a 4th is fighting for his life in a hospital. Emily Schmidt has the latest from Louisiana.
Investigators are looking into the strange world of Gavin Long, who gunned down 3 Baton Rouge police officers on his 29th birthday before officers were able to kill him. Officials say he wanted to kill cops.
His prey was those police officers or any police officer that would have been in the area.
Long, who legally changed his name to Cosmo Sedepenra last year, made postings online saying, quote, "Fighting back was the only way to bring social change." Meanwhile, fallen officers Montrell Jackson, Matthew Gerald, and Brad Garofalo are being remembered for their service and dedication. Listen to a longtime friend of Jackson's.
And I've watched him at football games and parades and just being out in the community, and every time he does the right thing.
The shootout comes nearly 2 weeks after the controversial deaths of Alton Sterling in Baton Rouge and Philando Castile in Minnesota, both African-American men killed by police. Monday morning, Attorney General Loretta Lynch vowed to help heal rifts.
Now is the time to ensure that every American, everyone, under the sheltering arm of our Constitution, feels respected, feels supported, feels safe.
In the wake of this attack and the recent murder of 5 officers in Dallas, numerous police departments around the country say they are taking extra precautions for personnel. Reporting from Baton Rouge, I'm Emily Schmidt.
Meanwhile, some 200 people in New York remembered Eric Garner a day before the 2nd anniversary of his death. Reverend Al Sharpton and Garner's mother, Gwen Carr, they led a march in his honor on Saturday. Members of the Black Lives Matter movement also took part in this event. Garner died in 2014 after a police officer tackled him in a chokehold for illegally selling cigarettes. A medical examiner later ruled his death a homicide. A grand jury did not indict Officer Danielle Patileo, who took Garner down. But Garner's family is hoping Patileo will still face federal civil rights charges. 6 people are now in custody in connection with the deadly attack in Nice, France. 84 people were killed after 31-year-old Mohamed Laoubrel drove a 20-ton truck through hundreds. Gathered to watch the Bastille Day fireworks Thursday night. French officials are still trying to figure out if the killer was a member of ISIS. 27 men accused of leading a failed coup attempt in Turkey appeared in court in Ankara. The president of Turkey says he won't rule out reviving the death penalty. Recep Tayyip Erdogan attended a funeral Sunday for some of the people killed in the uprising. At least 290 have died. Mr. Erdogan has also called on his supporters to continue their rallies. He says pro-government protesters who took to the streets foiled the coup attempt. Keeping our eye on the economy, as we mentioned earlier, the Republican National Convention is underway in Cleveland, Ohio. The roster of speakers to officially nominate Donald Trump is a colorful mix of political leaders, entertainers, personalities, and the candidates' family members, followed by the billionaire businessman's speech accepting the GOP nomination. Newly minted Trump running mate Mike Pence will speak on Wednesday evening. Now, each of the 4-night gatherings in Cleveland will center on a different theme, such as security, immigration, and the economy. Here's a look at the stock market at the New York Stock Exchange. According to the numbers there, we can see everything up. The Dow 16, NASDAQ 26, S&P 500 up at 5. Coming up on News 2, these college students, they are college bound, even though they are not of college age. Details coming up. Plus, the Comanche Palm Garden was on fire Saturday afternoon with the 4th annual hot sauce competition. The hot highlights coming up. Highlights there from the festival, but we'll have that later on in the show. Coast Guard rescue crews ended a 4-day search Saturday for possible survivors of a migrant vessel which reportedly capsized sometime between the night of July 9th and Monday morning in waters between the BVI and St. Martin. The vessel was carrying 15 Cubans, 1 Colombian, Dominican Republic national, and 2 persons from St. Martin when it capsized. Search efforts yielded no signs of additional survivors. 4 were rescued by a Good Samaritan vessel Monday in waters south of Virgin Gorda. Rescue units collectively search approximately 10,500 square nautical miles. Senator Terrence Nelson announces the return of free prescription drug cards. He said he has once again partnered with American consultants. The prescription card is designed to assist millions of uninsured, underinsured, and seniors in need of medicine assistance. In 2008, when the program was first launched, Nelson presented a major viewpoint and obstacle to the company that has since addressed and upgraded the program. There is no enrollment, no expiration date, and one card covers the whole family. Unlimited usage and no forms to complete. The cards are good at over 50,000 chain pharmacies all over the world. A partnership between Wanef Louis and Chicago State University have proved successful. 3 visiting interns in the pharmacy department of the hospital concluded their first hospital institutional rotation that began on June 13. The interns gained practical experience and complement the staff as well. Wanef Louis became an advanced pharmacy practice experience site for Chicago State University on September 1st, 2015. Wanef Louis will host 4-year pharmacy students during a 6-week rotation as they complete their final requirements to obtain their pharmacy degrees. Some students, although not ready for college, were able to receive a real college experience by living in the UVI residence halls on St. Thomas. The Upward Bound summer program wraps up on Tuesday, but the students received a total learning experience that included academics, activities, and even college credits.
It's a wonderful experience for the young people, and it makes the transition between high school and college a much easier one for them. 28 students on the St. Thomas campus and 25 on the St. Croix campus. In addition to those students, we have 6 students who are participating in a bridge program, meaning they have graduated from high school and they are working on campus and taking college-bearing courses.
So far, I've been here for about 4 years now, and the program's been very beneficial for me. It helps with all your schoolwork and life lessons. It teaches you a lot of life lessons. You get to really acquainted with your community and other people from other schools. And being from the private school, that was very, very nice for me. I'm taking a college trade course, and I can also get my credits if I do good in the class, and that'll help me as I go on to college. I'm searching to study at Florida Institute of Technology for my human factors and safety major. That's with flight. It's a flight program that'll give me all my flight courses and whatnot.
Students and teachers at the Joseph Sibley Elementary School enjoyed a school year that was a lot cooler thanks to a generous donation, $15,000 donation that was used to purchase 2 basketball units and 2 energy-efficient air conditioning units for the school. Sibley's principal, Dr. Felix Duran, said Tacoma Asset Management, a St. Thomas EDC company, they made that donation towards sports and energy conservation equipment. The funds were also used to replace damaged fencing on the playground. The mathematics behind the science summer program at UVI has received a grant of $14,764 from the J. Raymond Jones Fund at the Community Foundation of the Virgin Islands. MBS is a college preparation program for college-bound students who are majoring in science, mathematics, engineering, or technology. CFVI has also awarded a total of $14,500 in scholarships to 11 VI students to attend marine-related programs this summer. These students will have the opportunity to participate in swimming, boating, and aquatic sporting activities. Well, the Comanche Palm Garden was on fire Saturday afternoon with the 4th annual hot sauce competition sponsored by the Crew de Croix. Hot sauce lovers from throughout the island got a chance to sample almost 20 different hot sauces, all with their unique flavor, texture, and of course heat. When the tasting was all done, Jimmy Weber and his crucial Crucian hot sauces took home 3 awards, including Best Hot Sauce, Hottest Hot Sauce, and veteran Bob Greeno took the People's Choice Award with his Old Guys Rule hot sauce.
Strand invited me. They're great people. They're very conscious about what we do here and grow here. And I'm really proud to actually produce a local product, you know. And I think that if the base of the peppers are local, which they are, then it's Crucian hot sauce.
Old Guys Rule hot sauce is basically a bunch of vegetables, onions, green peppers, some mushroom, a bunch of other herbs, stuff like that. Mix it all up with a Ninja, put it in a bottle, it tastes great.
Congratulations to the winners, and I would just love to sample them both. Organizers of the 28th Annual Bastille Day Kingfish Tournament, they hosted that event on Sunday from about 10 a.m. The boats were out as tournament anglers fished and head back to the weigh station at Hull Bay. Weigh-in began at noon. Largest kingfish winner was Gilbert Laban aboard the Emmanuel, and he caught a 37.55-pound kingfish. And for those who are not out at sea, however, Hull Bay Hideaway had plenty of activities for the entire family. Music by Cool Sessions and Them Fellas. Now, Laban's largest kingfish earned him $2,000 in cash, plus many other prizes. He also earned Best Male Angler with a catch of 2 fish that collectively weighed 53.05 pounds. The second largest kingfish prize went to Kathy Styler aboard the doubleheader, who caught a 30.60-pounder. Of course, there were a lot more categories, a lot more winners. You can log on to their website and get the full list. Be sure to stick around. Your News 2 AccuWeather forecast is coming up next.
We could see some isolated showers across the Virgin Islands as we check out your current satellite. Good evening to everyone in the Virgin Islands. As we check things out here, notice really not a whole lot going on. Looking at mainly quiet conditions for the most part. Push of dry air expected as we head into late week once again. But it's during the middle of this week, midweek, where we can expect the increase of some showers across the vicinity as we are keeping track of a tropical wave. So for tonight, just a couple of spotty showers, really not amounting to a whole lot. General here, a shower or 2. Temperatures will be taking a tumble back into the low 80s. So very mild night in store as we take you into Tuesday. Same deal. Very brief showers in the area. St. John's temperatures mild at 90 degrees, 90 as well in St. John's. Under partly sunny skies, a shower or 2 will be possible, especially for the afternoon hours. Same story goes for St. Croix as temperatures will be mild here also at 90 degrees. All right, heading out to the water here in the Atlantic side, waves anywhere between 3 to 5 feet with an easterly flow at about 8 to 16 knots. How about the marine forecast for the Caribbean side? Very similar conditions here with waves at about 3 to 5 feet and an easterly flow up to 16 knots here. As we check out your extended outlook as we continue into the next couple of days, once again, we are keeping track of a tropical wave, so we do have the chance to see more increase of clouds as we head into Wednesday. Watch out for some wet weather. We could see some showers, and also that continues on Thursday. Friday, as we close things out here for the work week, we're looking at mainly sunny skies. Temperatures will be approaching 90 degrees. And guess what? That sunshine sticking around as we take you into the first part of the weekend, keeping things nice and quiet during the weekend, which does bring good news for those folks that do have any plans. Sandy, let's send it back to you.
Thank you for that. It is time for our News 2 weather picture by Latanya McDonald, 11 years of age, representing the Calvary Christian Academy, and we can feel the nice warm rays from the sunshine, the blue skies. Thank you for that, Latanya. Pretty much what we can see outdoors. You know, you can send your News 2 weather picture to be featured right here on News 2 to the address right there on the screen. And stick around. We have News 2 Sports coming up next.
I'm Gary Anthony, and this is News 2 Sports. Play ball! The 2016 Little League Caribbean Regional Tournament took to the field at St. Croix's Canagata Ballpark on Saturday, with 7 teams from the Caribbean playing for the right to move on in the International Division, and ultimately the Little League World Series in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. The USVI has 2 teams competing, one from St. Croix and one from St. Thomas. Both teams lost Saturday. St. Croix was shut out by the Dominican Republic 9-0, while St. Thomas lost to Curacao 11-0. How would St. Thomas fare in Sunday night's nightcap versus Bonaire? Well, let's go to Canagata Ballpark. The St. Thomas team looking sharp in their uniforms. Gotta love those New York Mets caps. Top of the first inning, St. Thomas pitcher Ivan Beaverhout Jr. is throwing gas. He fans the leadoff hitter. He fans the second place hitter. And he fans hitter number 3. Now that is some dominant pitching. Bottom of the first, after a single and a stolen base by Jafari Samuel Jr. and a strikeout wild pitch, which puts Kimani Riley on, who promptly steals second base, the Marcus Florent at bat with 2 runners on, and Florent drives one up the middle. Jafari Samuel Jr. and Kimani Riley score. Flores goes on the third, and St. Thomas is up 2-0. They will go on to win 17-1 and are now 1-1 in the tournament. Next up, Curacao on Tuesday night at 7 p.m. right here in St. Croix at Canagata Ballpark. That's it for sports. If you're on St. Croix and you get a chance, go on by Canagata Ballpark. Every afternoon starting at 4 o'clock, we got games. It could be fun to watch. Sandy, back to you.
And all the best to our athletes. Thanks for that, Gary. That is all for this edition of News 2. Thank you for joining us for all the latest in news, weather, and sports. I'm Sandra Gumansing. We will see you next time.